drum tech, drummer, and YouTube educator Kenny Sharretts coming to you live from Santa Barbara on Elvis Costello Blondie 2019 Summer Tour to talk to you about when and why to change snare wires. Now I'm out here, we came out after a short break that we sent all the equipment home. When I came back, the snare wires showed a little bit of the age from the last tour, and they showed a little bit of rust on them. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You can see how the wires are level and centered on each side and balanced, but even a little looser on this side than they are on this side. You can also see some rust from dirt that's built up over the time that they've been sitting in cases in between tours. So it's definitely time to change these snare wires because, again, much like a spring that's stretched out, when the snares have been stretched out too much, they just ain't nothing left. It's time to put a new one on. Come on! So it was definitely time to change. When you start seeing them rivet a little bit, if they've been stretched out too far, don't quite have the snap that you're looking for, or they have rust on them. Or if they look a little bit like this one, when it put on some brand new snares on my snare drum for the first week of the tour, got put in the case quickly, and it looked like this. You can see where the wires have been bent, so even though they pull evenly, the sensitivity and sound are still affected. When you see these things, these are indications that it is time to change the snare wires. And there's also a why to change the snare wires, not just that it's maybe not as good as it used to be or bent up or tore up a little bit. And again, about every 6 to 7 months, you should look at your snare wires, make sure you aren't too stretched out or too bent up, to ensure that you get maximum sensitivity, maximum volume, and maximum snare sound out of your snares. But also, sometimes you're in a situation like I was on this tour, where I had this beautiful Stave Brady snare, which just has crack for days, so much crack, it's stupid. And originally we had some blasters on it to enhance the crack. But in some of the venues that we're going into, it was simply too much crack, and that can happen. So we went with some custom pros, 24-strand brass, put them on the bottom, and it helped give a warmer texture. So we still have the brightness of the brass coil, but there was a bit more warmth to it, and a bit more sensitivity. With the bent plate, I was able to get a bit more sensitivity out of the snare at a tighter tuning, therefore giving it a nice thick crack with a rich, rich snare sound underneath. So let's check out and see what that sounds like. Okay, so here we are at the kit, man. One of the reasons I like the custom pros is, man, they really sit well. You hear no excess snare buzz coming off these drums, man. One hit, little buzz, almost no buzz on that one because they're centered, they're leveled, and they're balanced. And the little bends on the end of the plate help control some of that sustain or that resonance, sympathetic snare resonance. But look at that. Sensitivity for days. And crack like a mad dog. So let's hear what a groove sounds like with these brand new snares on this 24-strand custom pro brass coils on this beautiful Brady. Clean, rich snare sound without too much excess snare resonance. That's why you need to change your snare wires on a regular basis. Make sure they're crisp, clean, and solid. Stick around and watch more tips on my YouTube channel, Kenny Sharretts YouTube. Help you learn how to tune your drums and keep them sharp. Peace.
This love is like a prison cell, only in cold as hell.